to you by
Leona's Little Pizzas, home of the famous 3-inch cricket deep dish, one topping, still only $7.99 at participating locations. Here we are at my enclosure for Leona, aka the Geckoator. She usually eats in the evening, but I'm making an exception today because I wanted to show you the habitat and the technique I've developed, which allows for a substrate with a leopard gecko, which is a controversial subject with these reptiles, I understand. So like a lot of you have a calendar with your feeding schedule and your supplement schedule, and with Leona it seems to be the perfect feeding schedule for her is about 3 or 4 days without food. So she's being fed roughly twice a week. So to substrate or not substrate, that is the question. Well, I do substrate. Well, doesn't the crickets or other feeders get the substrate on them and risk swallowing and impacting the reptile? Not a bit, and that's what I'm going to share with you here. So as you can see, the enclosure is separated on the right side, which would be your basking area, your hot area. There's a tile. I have a tile that fits in there perfectly. It's a 12 by 12 tile. You can pick it up at the building supply. And in the middle is left with nothing. And then on the left side, I have a retaining wall. Her enclosure, or hide, I should say, is nothing more than a large reptile's feeding dish. It was from my iguana years ago. And on top of that, you can see a clear lid, which is from the cover of a rotisserie chicken container. And on top of that is some vegetation, artificial vegetation, glued onto it. And there is echo earth in the depression behind this retaining wall. So you have a retaining wall which holds the echo earth behind it. Now, why do I think it's so important to have substrate? Well, we all do a lot of reading and we take tips from what we've learned and also our own experience. And one of the things I've read was that females, which Leona is one, if they have to lay eggs, they would need a substrate, and the lack of a substrate could impede the instinct to lay the eggs, and they could be impacted with the eggs. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's why I thought it's so necessary that Leona has substrate. Now, how do I keep the substrate from getting all over the feeders? That's very simple. I'm going to show you now. Of course, in the corner, most of you leopard gecko people know they will poop the furthest from their little hide, and here's her paper towel, and there's a little poop there. And after I take care of that, I'll show you what I do to feed. So we took out the poop, we removed the calcium dish and the water dish. And then this is the secret to this technique here. This is a little wall. It's made out of a piece of foam core. It has the infamous shipping tape application so that crickets can't climb the shipping tape. On the back there's a couple of little like supports with, I guess, some copper pennies as a weight. So that fits right in here. And the leopard gecko is, with my experience, she's a pretty smart cookie compared to some reptiles. She knows that when this wall comes out, that it's feeding time. So here is well, from lack of a better term, the killing zone or the feeding area. So you have the wall and the tile. The crickets, when you dump them in, they just, if they're good and lively, as they should be, they just walk round and round the edge, round and round the edge, and it makes it quick and easy, and there's no risk of those crickets going up here, hiding, getting into the substrate, possibly disappearing and being an issue later. Now, if we go in here, she's heard this activity. She's seen me take out the dish and the calcium and the paper towel, and you'll see if I go in here, she's already watching the activity under here. There, she knows. So she knows that it's feeding time. Again, a rare morning feeding, because I thought this would photograph better. So she knows. Usually I don't wait for her to come out. I just lift this up. So there's the arrangement. Now, if we go in here and look, you're going to see that she knows. She's been watching. She hears the activity. She knows it's feeding time. Now, I usually don't wait for her to come out because that can be a long, slow process. So I set up the wall and I lift up the hatch here, which is nothing more than a chicken rotisserie lid, as I explained. And there she is. She's waiting. So I use a cut laundry detergent container to just have the crickets. They're easy to reach in and grab that way. So there'll be calcium one at a time in the cup. She knows it's time to eat. So in she goes. Number one. We'll dump this one far over. So he land, they land on their back once in a while. Come on, little guy. There we go. Two. Don't you love that tail wiggle? And of course, we do the occasional hand feeding. Now, I'm going to only calcium 3 of the 5. We're aiming for 5 today. Because I did see the little armpit glands, and she was actually refusing crickets with calcium. She'd eat the plain ones. So I one of every third calcium I hold back a little bit. Number 3. And here goes a plain one. That was too easy. Number 4. Well, I was hoping the crickets would do their run amok thing and go around the square. It just depends how. But believe me, if you were to dump in a cricket and she didn't get to it right away, and the cricket was one of those active ones, it would go round and around and around, and I've seen it happen. And it's funny for her in the middle, because she'd rotate and look and follow it if she didn't corner it right away. So that's what I do to feed little Leona here. She refuses to eat mealworms. She doesn't like them. She loves doobie roaches, and I have some of them. They're a little too small, and I'm trying to breed them. So that's Leona's feeding regimen. So have your substrate, have your cake and eat it too, as it were, or have your cricket and eat it too. So she has substrate, which I can also add moisture. When you see that the shedding is near, I put a couple tablespoons of water on the substrate there in the corner, and she has a little mattress pad in the hut. So you can see, I might as well take you inside here. So there's a better look at the substrate and the her little hide. So that mattress pad, a piece of paper towel, is going to come out. And I got a little hand vac so that I can vacuum up, because sometimes a little eco earth or eco earth gets kicked in there. So I hope you enjoyed seeing Leona's little private lair and how she eats. Again, with the little cricket wall. The Great Wall of Cricketum, I guess, and a retaining wall, simply with rocks there, just hot glue gunned in place. And another thing, I have, I don't use thermostats. At a glance, I have one of these little house thermometers. So I have an instant reading of temperature and humidity. And then I have a little solar LED, one of those things for the lawn. And in the evening, she has a little moon, a little blue moon lights up. So she has, she's able to regulate temperature. This is the basking side. Then she has the rooftop. Sometimes she's up on the roof of the hide, or in the hide, or in the corner. And in the winter months here in Maine, there's an under tank heater under the hut. But now, the summer, that's off. And of course, I have the adjustable lamps with those nice rotary dial adjustments. One of the best things they've ever come out with. Anyway, Leona says bye for now.
I want you to like me. I need